Late passage and non-implementation of budgets have been at the forefront of Nigeria's socio-economic woes, and this was reiterated by members of the House of Assembly who expressed grave disappointment at the level of developmental projects at the MDAs. Following a resolution by the lawmakers the previous week to visit the MDAs to ascertain the projects awarded in tandem with the specification of the Budget Office, the House Committee on ICT, led by the Chairman Honorable Shehu Gusau, set out to visit agencies under the Communication Technology Ministry.
It's just being fair, just fair mark. I'm not very impressed because there are several issues that keep coming up. Budget release not at the right time, even if the budget is really not at the right time. And these are specialized organizations that have to meet certain deadlines by a certain period. So if the year is divided into 4 and the quarter is not released until halfway into the next quarter, it has affected the performance of those organizations.
Beginning with the National Information Technology Development Agency (NITDA), Dr. Ashiru Daura, Acting Director General of the agency, said that although NITDA has implemented over 60% of the approved budget for the year, funding remained one of its challenges.
Now, for this year, for 2013, something was budgeted, but we had to do the consultancy. We hired the consultants who are developing the overall plan, design, and we have progressed. They have submitted a preliminary design. We are looking at it.
Not minding the heavy downpour during the visit, the honorable members proceeded to the Nigerian communication satellite. Not satisfied with the level of work on ground at the state-owned satellite company, the lawmakers took on the executive director, Engineer Ahmed Rufai.
When you are able to perform, we have performed. When you fail, we have failed. We have the obligation to oversight you and guide you according to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. What we are saying here is, and what my colleague tried to reiterate here is, it is not wise as a public venture. No, wait.
That's an explanation.
Hold on. It is not wise as a public venture to have yourself in a negative position. That is why, because you have used your entire resources to go and commit to a project that, yes, will attract more projects. But right now you are empty. That is why it is hard for you to fuel generator. It is hard for you, for your staff to pay NEPA card or something. You had said it here.
Rufai, on his part, claimed that non-implementation of the 2013 budget, poor power supply, among others, are responsible for NIGCOMSAT's performance. He said 75% of projects approved are already implemented. He, however, revealed that 8.5 million naira is spent monthly on generating power for the agency, owing to the instability of the power generated from the national grid.
Our total overhead is 127 million. And if we take the percentage of what is released on the capital, I think it's about 62% of what is released, which I think is fairly good for us. It's just that the last release just came about 2 weeks ago. The overhead, we had 127 million and about 10.5 million every month, as against 554 that we require. And for the overhead, we have been having very serious challenge up to the point that our entire marketing is being hampered by inability to even do the marketing. Most of my staff, when we have to go and deploy, we do that using our personal funds. I can tell you that in our office in Wuse, staff have decided to contribute to pay their electricity bill.
Talk,
yes, sir. Yes, sir. You made a very good point, sir. But the issue is, maybe we start from what was the intention of government ab initio. From beginning, why did government started this project? Now, as at 2001, we were asked to do a need assessment. As at that time, almost $150–200 million was spent annually for the purchase of bandwidth. And now, as of today, it's up to $500 million. Ministry of Education, USPF, Ministry of Defense, Central Bank of Nigeria, and so many other organizations, apart from the private institutions, they spend over $250 million up to today to buy bandwidth. Now the question is, why will government own an infrastructure and the same government is using government money to buy the same thing from outside? Does it make sense?
It will be recalled that the Senate recently directed its Committee on Finance and Appropriation to summon the Coordinating Minister for the Economy and Minister of Finance, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, to explain the level of implementation of the 2013 budget, which analysts say is far below best global practice, as the Nigerian government continue with the retrogressive habit of late passage of budget and low implementation. In recent times, a lot of companies from the Middle East, South Africa and Europe are moving into sub-Saharan Africa for investment. And Nigeria, with a population of over 160 million people and a growing middle class, is a choice market for these investors. Specifically, South Africa's investment in Nigeria, which began as a freckle after apartheid in 1994, has turned into a flood over the past 13 years. Trade between the two nations jumped from $11 million in 1994 to well over $100 billion today, with visible investment in the nation's ICT sector. This figure is yet to increase as South Africa recently organized a trade mission visit to Nigeria.
More and more South Africans have been coming here and they would like to invest here. The reason also is basically that Nigeria is quite a big market, and therefore it makes business sense for any South African to come and invest here. And of course the regime, the legal regime, is also very friendly to that.
Deliberations at the event focused on ICT and oil and gas, and participants from Nigeria and South Africa share their perspectives from the government and public sector angles.
We've been coming here regularly to Nigeria, not just to Nigeria but also to other countries, but in Nigeria we come here at least twice a year with different sectors. This time it is oil and gas and ICT sectors, but we were here a few months ago with the film sector. So we brought a group of film producers to come and partner with Nigerian producers so that there can be like some sort of joint production, between the two sides. So, and it's been working.
It is important to note that South African investors have chosen the sectors they intervene very carefully. They feel a void in investment space in Nigeria. The Europeans and the Americans, worried by endless years of military rule, did not quite know how to respond to Nigeria's evolving democratic environment. Most West African companies that invested in Nigeria focused on the lucrative oil sector alone, leaving huge swaths of the economy open to South African entrepreneurs.
Although the two countries have done well in their trade relations, there are still some barriers that must give way if this growth must be sustained, and this is about to change, says the South African High Commissioner to Nigeria.
During the state visit, we signed an agreement where at least carriers of diplomatic and official passport could move freely between the two countries.
It is hoped that these deliberations and networking will result in significant improvement in the trade and investments flow between the two countries.
Models, markets, and money. Positioning your organization. That was the theme of the 7th Annual SME Conference put together recently by the Enterprise Development Center of the Pan-Atlantic University, Lagos, in collaboration with Heritage Banking Company. The annual Small and Medium Entrepreneurship SME Conference is aimed at helping small and medium enterprises and emerging entrepreneurs alike to succeed.
This conference is the 7th in the series. So every year in the last 7 years, we have been doing this kind of conference. It's a melting point for us, bringing together all stakeholders within the SME space, and indeed all those that have one thing or the other to do with SMEs.
Apart from adopting business models, speakers at the event also pointed out other key areas SMEs and young entrepreneurs must focus on to actualize their business sustainability and growth.
Exchanging of ideas, learning from the experiences of one another, enables new people to avoid pitfalls on the way to setting up their businesses.
A developing economy must necessarily focus on MSMEs. What we've done is try to understand the needs of that market. A lot of people think that the needs of that market is money. Yes, there is money, but there is a lot more than money. There is the understanding, there is the knowledge, there is the skill.
However, these micro, small and medium enterprises have several obstacles to grapple with. They did not fail to share their experiences with AIT INFOTECH Network.
First of all, to be an entrepreneur, you have to be very daring. But regardless, I mean, you already know you're going to have some kind of business challenges. But we do have some peculiar challenges in Nigeria. It's very difficult to actually set up a business and do all the right things at the right times, mainly because sometimes you don't have the right access to capital. It's hard to get the right kind of talent, and sometimes when you even get the right kind of talent, it's a little bit difficult to retain them or attract them.
For me, this session has been very insightful. I've learned a lot about what to do before going into partnership, different business models, that would help you retain good staff. Also build a business that is well structured, well organized. So in this session also, I've been able to understand that it's not just all about having staff and but making yourself as much as possible indispensable to your staff. That is, you are there for them personal wise, you understand their needs apart from the profession, then constant training and development.
At the end of the conference, 3 key issues were resolved: adopting the right business models, identifying the right market for business, and lastly, leveraging on access to funds to start, execute, and sustain a business. Telecommunication has indeed become a part of our culture as a people, hence it has remained a focal point in most technology-driven meetings in Nigeria today. This was one of such gatherings in Lagos recently, where stakeholders converged to brainstorm on ways to enhancing growth and development of the country's telecommunication sector. This time, it was the Nigerian Telecoms Development Lecture, which was put together by Logical Communications.
The thrust of the event is to discuss the operational environment of Nigerian business and telecom, which is comprising of business and politics. So we brought a governor, we brought the CEO of a telecom company, and both have spoken from different perspectives.
According to the Executive Vice Chairman of the Nigerian Communication Commission, Dr. Eugene Jua, who was represented by the Director, Public Affairs for the Commission, Tony Ojobo, the rapid deployment of digital mobile services in the country has demonstrated the importance of ICT services to the people.
The economic development of a nation can be accelerated by improvements in the country's ICT infrastructure. The explosion in technology, which ushered in the information age, has become the basis for defining power in the modern world. No modern economy can thrive without an integral information technology and telecommunications infrastructure.
On the relevance of the lecture to fast-tracking the growth of the subsector and the importance of competition amongst operators, Ojobo speaks again.
Well, I think it's a kind of evaluation of telecom development in Nigeria, where we were, where we are today, and what the future looks like. And I think it's been a great event. it's always good to look back and see, look at the progress that has been made. Like I said in my opening statements, we are coming from a background of 0.4% teledensity as at January 2001. And today we are talking about 85.9% teledensity. That is phenomenal. So what that has done is that we have evaluated what has happened in the industry, and then how has it affected, or how has it impacted on the life of the average Nigerian. Now today, for instance, we have about 50 million internet users, including students, businessmen, and private individuals. Now, what that does is that it enables a lot of online activities in the country.
For the Governor, State of Osun, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, it was an opportunity to share his own experience on how much ICT can help to improve governance.
It's like looking at life in the physical form through a mirror. It's a mirror image of life. That's ICT. Everything you do in the physical can be represented virtually, and that is ICT. That's my own definition of it. There is no aspect of life, none, except intimacy, and I have to be careful there, that cannot be replicated virtually. So we haven't seen anything yet in ICT. We are still at the tip of a huge iceberg.
At 120 million active lines at June this year and teledensity of more than 85% from 0.4% in 2011, the question begging for answers, however, are how many citizens are fully aware of ICT contribution to societal development? How many of these lectures, since the liberalization of the subsector, has actually provided lasting solutions to challenges facing the sector?
The global IT outsourcing market is expected to hit $288 billion this year, with emerging markets from Asia, Latin America, and China. This report is from Gartner. But surprisingly, Africa is not mentioned in this report, and that's got me wondering why, if they say Africa is the next economic frontier. How come we are not mentioned as part of the continent that will be contributing to this growth in global IT outsourcing? And we are going to be joined with a seasoned IT professional and IT trainer, Mayowa Ogumoroti, to take a look at this issue and probably chart a course for how best we can equip our IT professionals from this part of the world. Mayowa, how come Africa is not part of the continent that will be contributing this $288 billion to the global IT outsourcing market?
I can imagine that some of the statistics we've got, considering the continent of the world, considering the continent, and as I mentioned, Asia Pacific, in Asia, look at China, Malaysia, India, for example. We have the volume of IT professionals, skilled professionals. And so what happens in our economy most of the time is that is where a lot of the outsourcing comes from. We don't see a lot of outsourcing from Africa to other parts of the world. So I guess that's one of the reasons why in that report Africa is not so mentioned. Now Africa is not as if we don't outsource, really. We do, but there's a sort of depth in the skills.
Now let's come back home to Nigeria. Okay, what do you think is responsible for this gap that we see in IT skills, especially when you consider the fact that there is no tertiary institution in Nigeria that does not have one or more IT related courses, yet we have private IT training institutes also spread across the country?
If I see from my perspective, what I do, I'm into a lot of training as a professional, and we see a lot of that come with different qualifications. I remember there's a time we're screening for a position in our company and we're looking for trainers, database professionals, as a matter of fact. And it's my imagination that we screened quite a number of people, and to be honest with you, there was none of them that could, that we could vouch for and say these are people that can stand in front of students.
Practically, what kind of IT skills do organizations look out for when they hire IT professionals?
It depends, because IT is a very wide field. There are different aspects. There's databases, there's networking, there's a programming, quite a number of areas. There's hardware, software. So it depends on the kind of area you're looking to get a job. But my advice to anybody who's a graduate of computer scientist, your training starts actually, your future starts actually from the moment you step into school.
Now when we take a look at the IT profession, a lot of these young people come out of schools and they really can't fit into the market immediately. Okay, what do you think such people need to do, these young people? What's your advice to them? How can they hone their skills while in school?
My advice is, I'll use my own experiences. Understand what you want to do. There's a tendency for people to do this jack of one trade, master of one. If you have a BSc Computer Science degree or BSc IT, look at the wide array of options that the IT field offers. Look at areas where you're interested in, and then carve a niche for yourself in that area. Look at, like I told my students, say, if you're looking for a job, if your dream is to be a network engineer, go online, search for jobs that, or jobs that are related to network engineering. Okay, what are the requirements organizations are looking for in that field? Do like a search, compare those. Okay, if you're going to be a network engineer, you must have this, you must have that. Okay, set out to achieve those things. Okay, if it's CCNE, CCNP, MCIT, whatever it is that you need, look out for those things. And once you've gotten those things, ensure that you know those things, not just to have the certification. And I also advise, because the issue of experience is a major challenge in IT world. Most organizations don't want to employ newbies, because most of them are handling sensitive information, data, and devices. So they want people who have. So I tell my students that try as much as possible at the end of our training. We try our best to find them in the organization. We also say, take it, be proactive. Go out there, take the initiative. Look out for companies that can offer you placements, non-paying placements now. It's not about money. Take time out a year or two. Build your resume.
Mayowa Okumo wrote it there on IT skill acquisition in Nigeria, and of course we also took a look at the broader IT outsourcing market. If you have been watching, we say thank you for being with us. Until I come your way again next week, I am Francisca Inanna saying bye.